do that right now.
Yes, sir.
Okay, the time is approximately 6 p.m., and I'm going to go ahead and call this meeting to order. Please join us in the Pledge of Allegiance and a moment of silence, please. Thank you.
I pledge allegiance
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Excellent.
It's Mr.
Go ahead.
Oh, okay.
Good evening, Mr. President, members of the board, superintendent, staff, and community members. As you are aware, January is Texas School Board Recognition Month, and the Donna Independent School District is joining other districts across the state to thank these community volunteers for their commitment and contributions to our public schools. The City of Donna is also showing its support by officially proclaiming January 2018 as School Board Recognition Month. School board members, you serve countless hours working to make public education the best it can be for all our students. In a climate of change and challenge, you develop policies and make tough decisions on complex education and social issues that affect our entire community and the lives of all Donna ISD students. You bear responsibility and oversight for the district's annual budget. Approximately 14,800 students at 22 campuses and more than 2,600 employees. We proudly salute you for being our education advocates, for your vision and leadership. We recognize you and thank you sincerely for your unfailing commitment to the continuing success of students now and in the future. At this time, we'd like to share a PowerPoint presentation of our school board members visiting our schools and attending school functions in support of our students and staff. This year's theme is helping kids soar to success, and to coincide with this message, students from each of the campuses created the kites you see on display today and dedicating them in your honor. The students and campus administration are also showing their appreciation tonight by presenting each one of you with special thank you cards, a plaque, and spirit apparel. First, we'd like to ask Board President Efren Ceniceros to please step forward.
Ms. Quintanilla, I understand that we do have one other performance. Is Mr. Ibarra in the room
It's supposed to be at the end.
at the end? Okay, all right, thank you. I'm
So,
sorry.
Mr. Ceniceros, can you
Step
please
down.
step forward? Presenting to Mr. Ceniceros is Adame Elementary Principal Maria Partida and fourth grade student Lauren de la Garza. Cáceres Elementary Principal Celia Martinez and second grade student Jolene Loera. And Ochoa Elementary Principal Melissa Smith and fifth grade student Karime Zermeno.
They're very creative, very, very. And the ones that are hanging up there, we will take to. And board members, the kites that are hanging from the ceilings, they look so pretty, we almost don't want to part with them, but we will be taking them to you tomorrow or the day after, because they were made with much love for each one of you individually.
Next, we'd like to call Vice President Valentin Guerrero to the floor. Mr. Guerrero?
Okay.
Presenting to Mr. Guerrero are Run Elementary Principal Alicia Sarmiento and fifth grade student Ramiro Cantu. Salazar Elementary Principal Leticia Chavez and fifth grade student David Decanini, sorry about that. I knew I was gonna do that. And Singletary Elementary Principal Christopher Park and first grade student Helen Santiago. Next, we ask Secretary Alicia Reina to join us. Presenting to Ms. Reina are 3D Academy Principal Javier Villanueva and 12th grade student Nerissa Gonzalez, DAEP Principal Juan Mendoza, Sauceda Middle School Principal Adela Troncoso and 7th grade student Alexa Gonzalez, and Stanky Elementary Principal Griselda Alvarez. We now invite Board Member Eloy Avila. Presenting to Mr. Avila are Donna North High School Principal Bernadette Cáceres and 12th grade student Isabela Villanueva. Guzman Elementary Principal Emmy de la Garza and second grade student Davian Aguirre. And Salinas Elementary Principal San Juanita Franco and fourth grade student and Salinasville Mayor Damian Tapia.
That's when government is in action.
Way to go, man.
Mr. Mayor, man.
Next, we'd like to ask Board Member John Billman to step forward. Presenting to Mr. Billman are Munoz Elementary Principal Nilda Calderon and fourth grade student Danielle Renee Silguero, Price Elementary Principal Cristobal Garza and first grade student Alejandra Ayala, and Veterans Middle School Assistant Principal Alan Garza and seventh grade student Kevin Cantu.
Number one. All right.
Thank you.
Very good, thank you.
Thank you, everybody.
Now we ask Board Member Dr. Donna Mary to come forward. Presenting to Dr. Mary are Garza Elementary Principal Maria Gomez and second grade student Christian Munoz, Lenore Elementary Principal Karen Nieto and first grade student and today a reader, tomorrow a leader recipient Saul Salinas, and Todd Middle School Assistant Principal Alfonso Sayavedra and eighth grade student and avid president Kylie Mendez.
That's what I'm LA.
And now we call Board Member Eva Watts to join us. Presenting to Ms. Watts are Donna High School Principal Nancy Castillo and 12th grade student and today a reader, tomorrow a leader recipient Jose Guadalupe Rivera Jr., Rivas Elementary Principal Rosalinda Navarro and fifth grade student and student council president Shania Montoya, and Solis Middle School Principal Mary Lou Rodriguez and eighth grade student and student body president Megan Calderon.
Stand up, Ms. Watts.
6 stars.
There you go, that one.
Oh, yes, thank you. Thank you.
You're the best. You're the best. You're the best. You're the best.
You look pretty with your lipstick. She looks beautiful.
What's going on there, miss?
Thank you for presenting. Thank you.
Board members, on behalf of our students and staff, we applaud you for your vision and voice, and thank you for your unwavering dedication in helping our kids soar to success. Thank you. We'd also like to thank our Donna ISD parents. At this time, we'd like to ask them to step up and be recognized, please, the parents of these kids. Also, a big thank you to both high school mariachi groups, Donna High School's Mariachi Corazón del Valle and Donna North High School's Mariachi Azteca. We now leave you with the sounds of Mariachi Corazón del Valle.
Lo sé bien que estoy afuera, que hay que yo me muera, sé que tendrás que llorar, llorar y llorar, llorar y llorar. Dirás que no me quisiste, pero vas a estar muy triste. Una piedra en el camino, yo que mi destino era rodar y rodar, rodar y rodar, rodar y rodar. Después me dijo un arriero que no hay que llegar primero, pero hay que saber esperar. No tengo trono ni reina, nadie quien me comprenda, pero sí quiero
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank y'all.
Okay, we'd like to thank everybody for all the kind words and the entertainment that was provided tonight. I know it took a lot of work to put this all together, and we're all very appreciative of your efforts. Thank you. Okay, it is time now to move on to the open forum, and we have two individuals. One is Leticia Vega. Is Leticia Vega here?
Yeah.
See. Can somebody please assist her over there, in case she needs help with the microphone and stuff? Van a tener 3 minutos para discutir lo que tienen que discutir y el concilio no está en posición para responderle aquí ahorita. ¿ok?
Perfecto.
Nomás la vamos a escuchar. Muchas gracias.
Listo. Buenas tardes, mi nombre es Leticia Rizo, como ya muchos de ustedes me conocen. Estoy aquí porque no estoy de acuerdo con lo que está sucediendo en nuestro board. No estoy de acuerdo, yo pido la reinstalación de la persona que ustedes acaban de sacar con nombre de Fernando Castillo. No estoy para apoyar ni para comercializar. Ustedes no fueron puestos, le hablo al board, no fueron puestos ustedes, no, nosotros como ciudadanos, como padres de familia, no les dimos nuestro voto para estar ahí en contra y que después quieran comercializar el puesto porque tienen fines de tener un puesto de tesorero en el distrito, en el condado de Hidalgo. Ese puesto no se comercializa, estoy hablando del puesto de superintendente. ¿Y saben a quién me refiero cuando yo digo que de comercializar un puesto como tesorero del condado de Hidalgo? El que nosotros como ciudadanos y padres de familia les hayamos otorgado nuestro voto para que estuvieran al frente del board, no se les otorgó para que hicieran malas administraciones con el dinero de las taxas que nosotros como ciudadanos pagamos. Estoy hablando porque ahora aquí presente la señora Filomena, ella va a agarrar otro pago extra cuando el dinero del distrito de Dona se puede administrar en cualquier otra cosa que hay necesidad, como hay necesidad aquí en el distrito. Entonces, si ustedes creemos nosotros los padres que ustedes son gente capacitada, gente estudiada, y si no es así, no sé qué clase de capacidad tienen, porque cómo pueden apoyarse unos a otros para quitar a los elementos que en el distrito nos sirven, como al señor Castillo, porque ese era un hombre, es un hombre que ha servido siempre, estuvo de coach, estuvo de maestro, estuvo de asistente, de principal, estuvo de asistente de superintendente y ahora de superintendente. Entonces, esa es una persona que nos ha servido bastante en el distrito, que conoce perfectamente el distrito y ha trabajado suficientemente bien para el distrito. ¿Cómo es que de buenas a primera por comercializar? Y lo digo porque tengo pruebas por buenas fuentes, incluso familiares, sé que se está comercializando el puesto que tenía el señor Castillo por querer ascender a un puesto de tesorero público en el condado. No se me hace justo ni se me hace correcto. Este puesto no es para comercializar. Vayan y comercialicen con lo que es de ustedes, no con lo que es del distrito. Con eso comercialicen. Ahora, vuelvo a lo del señor Castillo. El señor Castillo conocía perfectamente nuestro distrito y siempre habíamos visto que el distrito iba para arriba. Quedó deteriorado cuando salió el señor Reina, a lo mismo que le hicieron un tango como se lo están haciendo ahora al señor Castillo. Ahora, cuando el señor Castillo lo vuelve a poner como quien dice estable, ¿qué es lo que vienen a hacer ustedes? Lo mismo, hacer otro tango para sacarlo y poner a otra persona. No, señores, deben de ese dinero que se está malgastando, como no está saliendo de sus carteras, ustedes lo están mal administrando, pero ustedes, si son personas capaces y estudiadas, deben de ponerse a pensar lo que están haciendo, porque lo que están haciendo es para estar viendo el fin que a ustedes les conviene y no lo que le conviene a nuestros niños en el distrito. Entonces yo no estoy de acuerdo como muchos padres y tengo el apoyo de muchos padres donde no estamos de acuerdo con lo que ustedes están haciendo.
Tiempo. Gracias. Next is Linda Estrada.
Good evening. Happy New Year. I haven't seen most of you. My name is Linda Estrada. I am the local president for Donna TSTNEA, and I'm here to thank you all for everything that you have done and supporting our local and things that we are trying to implement with the district. I would like to also I would like to talk about one thing is that I've been hearing rumblings about insurance, people having problems with them getting their medication or their doctors not being accepted by our insurance. But nobody has really come up, just been hearing rumbling. But last week I did have a longtime employee. She's been here with the district for almost 40 years. And she never says anything. She never complains. But when she called me last week to let me know that she had to wait a month before she got some much-needed medication from her pharmacy because the doctor kept giving her the runaround, telling her that, the insurance wasn't covering it. These are people's lives at stakes, ladies and gentlemen. Stop and think about that. I'm pretty sure the doctor's not just giving the medication just to give it to them. Obviously, they need it. And to wait for a month, I would really like for y'all to really look into that to see what's going on. Second thing that I would like to say is that back in September, I was approached by the state to see if I would like to apply for a grant, an NEA grant, for Read Across America. And as most of you know, that every year we choose a different elementary so we can celebrate Read Across America. This year we chose Singletary with Mr. Park's permission. And I just got told yesterday that we got the grant, and it's in the amount of $2,125 that they will be able to use for Read Across America. This is what Donna TST-NEA is about, working with our campuses, for our students and for our teachers. And I so thank you for all the help that you all have been giving us and the support that you've been giving us. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much. Okay, moving on to the superintendent's report.
Mr. President, members of the board, the first item under the superintendent's report is that we would like to have discussion if needed and for the board to approve the rescheduling of the March regular board meeting to reschedule from March 13th to March 20th due to the fact that March 13th is the week of spring break. And so with your approval, we would like to move the meeting date to March 20th.
Is there a recommendation to move the date?
So move.
Motion by Mr. Avila, second by Ms. Watts. All in favor?
Favor.
Favor.
In favor.
Anybody opposed? The motion carries.
Board members, the next item, we would like to present to you a report. It's quite timely considering the comments that we just heard regarding health insurance and other employee benefits that affect the well-being of our staff throughout the district. And so I am going to call on Ms. Martinez to give the report on the health insurance fund for the school year 2016-2017. And you do have support documents in your agenda packet. In effect, what Ms. Martinez is preparing to share with you, the page that you find on tab 2, I believe it is a 5-year trend analysis of the fund ending in the current funding levels that we see on the books.
Yes, good evening, interim superintendent, board members. What we're doing is.
Ms. Martinez, just a second. Can you all hear her?
Can you hear me? Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Okay, we're currently going through our closing of our books for fiscal year 16-17. And in closing the books, there was an item that just stuck out that we needed to bring to your attention, which is our health insurance fund balance. Our health insurance fund is internal service fund. And because it is an internal service fund, it cannot have a negative balance. After we recorded the year-end accruals, the fund ended with a negative balance of $433. I'm bringing this to your attention because the auditor will be reporting this when he meets with you, when he delivers the audit. And it's just report only, just informational, that we will be doing a transfer in from the fund balance to cover that negative amount. Thank you.
Please note that on that page, if you see from the year 2011 through the year 2016, how the revenues came in, how the expenses also came in, resulting in that negative $963,433. And Ms. Martinez is correct in saying that legally, we cannot have a deficit in this fund. And so she will be making the transfer of those funds in. I would like to also, I have mentioned, and I did put in the board weekly update, that we are reviewing the insurance fund. It is self-funded. We are looking at other issues that have been brought up, and we will address the issue that was raised tonight about prescription drugs and how it is that we are or are not providing that service to our employees. So this department is under review, and I will be bringing additional information back to you in due time. Are there questions regarding papers before you?
No questions. I appreciate looking at this data right now at this moment in time, because the thing that stuck out to me, if I'm reading this right, is that essentially we've been spending over what we've had for the last 5 years.
That is correct. Yes, ma'am.
Okay, I think more importantly, what you also need to look at is that in fiscal year 2013, the total amount that was spent on insurance was $12 million.
Yes, sir.
In 2017, it's gone up to 21 million, almost 22 million. If you figure in the amount that we have to transfer in. So that's almost $10 million more in 4 years alone.
Yeah.
So that's something that we need to really look at and try to tighten up the screws on so that there's no loopholes or anything there. Because that, to me, that's like a ridiculous amount to be paying. That's too much of a jump. That's like almost, 50%, 60%, maybe more. So it's a real high number. And I think we really need to look and see what we can do to try to bring that amount down. Okay, on to consent agenda. That was a report only.
Yes, sir.
Okay, under consent agenda, you have accounts payable, discussion and possible action of budget amendments, investment report, financial statements, report on the monthly tax collections, and approval of the minutes for the previous board meetings. If there's anything there that you need to discuss, let us know.
No.
What's the recommendation on that?
Recommendation from the superintendent is,
Actually, consent agenda items. The board is expected to make a motion to approve the items or to not approve them. If an item is not pulled from the agenda by prior notice to the chair, then a motion is in order to approve all items on consent agenda.
I'll make the motion that we approve.
okay, there's a motion to approve by, was that Mr. Billman? Mr. Avila?
Mr. Avila.
Mr. Avila, sorry. Second by Ms. Watts. All in favor?
In favor.
Anybody opposed? Motion carries. District operations.
Mr. Figueroa, good to see you again. How are you?
Good, thank you. Members of the board, I'm going to be brief. I've got 2 items on the agenda. The first item, though, is an item that we are given a second look at. That's over at Rivas and Cáceres. about a year ago, Mrs. Rangel asked me to have somebody come look at it. We had a structural engineer come and look at the buildings, mainly for safety. They gave us an okay on the building and gave some recommendations. Most recently, a year later, Mrs. Rangel asked me to look into it again, see how it's doing. So we recommended having Robert Kistner, who is a soil testing and material testing company, to come look at it. They've come out to look at it. They presented to the building committee some of the same things that the other engineer looked at and saw during his visit. We did a couple of things just to be in precaution. We took down some blocks above the ceiling just to be sure that nothing would move and those would fall down. So that got done immediately the day after we visited the project. They did have some recommendations and are giving a proposal of cost to be able to do that monitoring. Primarily is going to be doing some soil testing around the building, taking a concrete slab elevation for a certain number of times throughout maybe 6 months to a year to see that the building isn't moving anymore, and then give any recommendations for any possible remediation. Primary thing is that it's a safe structure, and that's what they're looking at. So they'll be presenting at the next building committee, and then I guess at that time after that to the board. Any questions on that item? Mr. President, if I could go to the next item on the agenda?
Go ahead.
The next item, y'all have a little handout that I handed to you, and let's see. Basically, I'm going to go over some of the previous images that we showed you, and Mrs. Leo, have not been made privy to these, so I want to give you a little update.
Thank you.
Basically, we're looking at a site plan here that shows the addition over on the right side to Todd Middle School. We're looking at putting in about 20,000 square feet of additional classrooms, including life skills, and then also renovating the area where life skills was before and converting it into two classrooms, which is basically these two classrooms here. So the addition is on the south side of Todd Middle School. We're also adding a driveway up on the east side that will be specifically for the buses that will be bringing in the children from special skills, and that will be a drive that will go straight onto Wood Avenue. Right now, where the building is being proposed is actually the location for the drop-off and visitor parking. So that will be eliminated, and the visitor parking will now be on the west side off of Salinas. We've reviewed this plan with TxDOT and with the city, and they're okay with the reconstruction of that entrance and being able to put the park in there. They feel comfortable that the distances are good to be able to have traffic not only coming out but also going in. So that's been approved already by them. This image just basically shows you the addition. We're connecting to this corridor here. We've made one little change since the last time we talked about it, is that we widened. Right now, the corridor here is about 11'4", so we continue the 11'4" corridor. This corridor, we had shown it 10 feet. We've widened that to 11'4" so that all the corridors are the same width, even though in these corridors, we don't have any lockers. Only the lockers in the existing building will remain. So that is a connection to existing building. We're looking at a few things that we'll get into the design development, and that will be the occupancy loads to determine how many exits we actually need. We're looking at it two ways. We'll be talking to the city code enforcement people to see what the actual requirements. If we go by square footage, we would actually need 3 exits from the building, and the possibility may be to make another exit here or somewhere along this corridor to the outside. If we do it by the number of students that will be in there, if they give us that opportunity, then the 2 exits that we show on either end would suffice. So we'll get that reviewed during the design development phase. As I've discussed in past meetings, we've taken the materials from the band hall. You have some ribbed concrete block at the top, and then you've got 2 stripes of split face and smooth face block, and then down below is a split face block as well. We've taken those materials, but we've actually reversed them so that it doesn't look as top-heavy as possibly this may be. So the rib block, we've taken it down at the bottom, which is a wainscot along the building. Again, we're trying to scale the building down, and also because it's such a long building, we try to break it up. Aesthetically and architecturally and structurally, it works well with the structural framing and number of bays that we have for the building. We will continue the yellow stripe here that's at the manhole. We're going to continue it at the same elevation all the way across through the building, just to have some continuity from that existing building. The existing Todd really is a concrete structure with tilt-up concrete panels that have the ribs on it, and that's what they try to emulate with the manhole. So we're kind of bringing that in together. And then the entrances and the overhangs on the existing Todd Middle School, we're trying to bring some of that in by putting in some canopies at either end of the building. So you can see here where we tied in the different colors of the materials. These areas where the windows are actually recessed about 3/4 of an inch just to give it a little difference in elevation without making big, expensive additions to the foundation. Then we've added a canopy facing towards Salinas, and then a canopy over at the back where the children will be brought out to wait for the buses. Here's the front elevation. The top elevation is that of the back side of the building. We're calling the back side towards the parking area, and you can see that we have a canopy here and a kind of an area here that has railing, and mainly it's to be able to bring the children out maybe before the buses get there or while they're arriving, to be out there waiting, get into cover, protected area, into an unair conditioned space and still be able to wait there. And then there'll be a ramp down towards the sidewalks to where the buses will be. On the other side, the other end of the building, where the building will face towards Salinas, we've done a structure here that's a canopy, but it's more like a shade canopy. It's a steel structure. We've given it a form of a Indian headdress just to give it a little extra look. Trying to keep something that's not very expensive, but it'll be a maintenance thing because it's painted steel, but I think once it's kept up, it'll be a nice feature. The connection of the building is connected by this corridor to the existing building, and we'll have glass in this area. If we do require that third exit, we'll probably be putting doors somewhere along this wall right here. This is a cross-section through the building. Primarily, you can see that you're going to have marker boards and tag boards and classroom. That'll be your teaching wall. This is actually the corridor, the length of the corridor. We'll also have the connection of the new building to the existing building with windows on either side, looking between the two buildings, and then out also towards Salinas Boulevard. Yes, sir.
Would that third exit, could that be classified as an emergency exit only? Does it have to be?
Yes, sir. Actually, that exit and the exit towards Salinas, I think would probably be classified more like emergency, because you don't want children going through all directions. So those could be controlled a little bit with either a panic device or something.
And that would pass fire code.
Yes. There'll also be a connection between a fire separation between the two buildings. Instead of putting double egress doors, we're thinking of using a partition that actually slides in and out that also meets code. So if you don't have that, we'll catch that into the design development. This elevation here is just giving a little bit more detail on how that's going to be constructed with the ribbed concrete block on the bottom, the stripe tan-colored block, and that'll also accent the windows. There'll be a shade structure above the windows, like a small canopy above the windows, and then we'll continue the red block up on top and between these areas here. And again, all this is to break down the long view of the building. And the third section that we have here is basically just showing how the height of the block. We've got the block of the window, the bottom of the window is going to be at 4'8", so it gives teachers the ability to be able to look out the window, and staff members in the life skills to be able to look out also and see the buses coming, arriving. And at the same time, it's just high enough to be able to stand up and look out, but also high enough that when the students are sitting down, they aren't being distracted by the traffic on Wood and Salinas Boulevard. This is an elevation looking from Salinas. You can see the front elevation here. You've got the canopy. Again, we try to give it a structure looking like a Indian headdress here. With the D's, a feather looking here. These are actually tie rods. We'll give it that semblance of feathers. We'll keep the elements simple. We want the construction to be easily constructed and cost-effective, so we've tried to keep it as simple as possible and still give it a nice look. This is a connection to the building. This is the existing tie. Mr. Guerrero, I think you may have mentioned to my partner something about maybe doing something to the front of tie to kind of liven that area up. That's something we can do a little later.
I've been thinking about it, and I don't know whether in the future, I know that, this is, for the purposes of keeping costs at a minimum.
Yes.
Maybe later down the road, we can, try to paint the front to give it the same concept, same colors, I don't know if that's a doable.
I think it's a very doable thing. I think paint would probably be the best thing to do. I know it's kind of a maintenance, but without putting a lot of money into it, that'd probably be the best way to do it. And we can do something a little bit later. That's another view here. You can see from Wood Avenue, it's about 40 feet from the curb to the building. So you can see the windows here. They'll have the shade structures above. These will be downspouts from the roof. The roof is sloping in one direction, again for economy, without, and then also to be able to keep this water that rains onto the building from sloping towards a swell that's going to be, or piping inlets that will be here, instead of going between the two buildings. We want to keep as much water away from that because we're already having to do something to receive that water between the buildings and taking it out. This is I'm calling the this is a little shade structure. We're also sloping that to parallel to the slope of the roof. There won't be a parapet. It's going to be, the top of the roof is going to be right at the edge of the building. So it's raised about, I'd say probably about 16 to 18 inches from one end to the other. So it's pretty flat, but it still meets the requirements for the metal roof or a built-up roof or a single ply roof. Mr. Billman has asked us in this next phase to look at the cost of to give the different options on the roof, so we'll be providing that pretty soon at the next meeting.
That section between the two buildings, have we considered like some type of low maintenance, like pea gravel and creating like a French drain?
Yes, sir, we have. We've looked at that. You have water coming off the existing building. You're gonna have water coming off that little structure, so we've got downspouts down to there. We know we have to do something in the front of it, depending on whether we're gonna have that third exit. If we do, then we're gonna do some kind of sidewalks and there and maybe some pavers, but we're gonna be addressing that as well. Yes, sir. That's all my presentation. If you all have any questions or any observations or any changes that you would like at this point, we can consider. We'd be happy to do that.
And we certainly want to acknowledge the involvement that the board has had through the representation of the subcommittee of Mr. Guerrero, Mr. Avila, and Mr. Billman, and Mr. Angel, who has very ably led the discussions as well. So I know that these members of the board have already had some input, but are there any others of you that have any other insights you want included in the design at this time?
So Leo, we've also had staff members at the meetings, and they've also been able to give input. We will be meeting with them more extensively in this next phase with the engineers, so we'll keep everybody abreast and involved.
Very good.
Thank you.
So at this time, Mr. Chairman, administration would like to recommend approval of the schematic design as it was presented to you by Mr. Figueroa, your architect.
I had two questions actually. So the original purpose, I just want to make sure we're bringing us back to like the big picture. The original purpose that was set out to do this was to get students out of the portables, yes?
Yes, ma'am.
So is this design going to accomplish that? Yes, okay.
Yeah.
And did we, in our budget, set any money aside for kind of like the remodel or like refreshing of that main building? Or was it just for building like a new building?
Just for the wing.
It was just for the wing.
Okay.
Can I, are you done?
Those are, and then, my last thought was, on the committee, you said you had staff members. I think it would be worthwhile to maybe get a group of students together to hear some of their, I don't know, what they think. They're gonna be the ones spending a ton of time in there, not me. And so it'd be interesting to hear that, like, from their perspective, where's the, you know,
Maybe like student council?
so, I don't know, some group of students, because I'm just thinking about who is actually gonna be spending time in here, and we should involve that voice into this whole process somehow. That's
And
my
we'd be
last
happy
thought.
to do that either as a smaller group or at the next building committee, either way.
It's just a suggestion, it's a thought, and so you all can do with it.
I believe they're gonna be the sixth grade students who are the ones in the parcel, so those are currently in fifth grade.
Yeah.
So they're not at campus yet.
So Reina, another part of the scope was also to do the existing life skill area, convert that, renovate that. That's in the existing building.
Okay, awesome. That's what I had.
Yeah, I just, I'd like to go on record, and again, this is just something that has concerned me since I became a board member. Is prior years, there was always a question. Todd campus has always been belittled as far as the conditions of our kids, you know, overstaffing, overpopulation, the lack of proper facilities, bathrooms, water facilities, stuff like that. That was always an issue. The main idea that the previous boards and previous administration had was, well, we're going to create a bond and build a new school, which would have been great had the bond passed. It would not have addressed the issues of the kids from Todd. It would have created a new school that would have created a totally new population on the north side of town, up next to Donna North. Because of that, I felt that, you know, I've always been pushing to create a alternative, Plan B. And this is the Plan B that we came up with. And teachers, those of you principals that are here, I want you guys to please go back and spread the word that this year was a very tough decision. We opted to pull money out of a fund balance account in lieu of raises for teachers. That was not a very popular move. You know, teachers felt that we had forgotten about them, and we haven't forgotten about our teachers and our employees by giving them a raise. But since we had this issue that I felt that, not that I felt, but that I kept expressing to the rest of the board, we need to address this issue. And I think we've done in the last, how long has it been? 6 months, 7 months that we've been working on this project. I mean, we got on the ground running. Ms. Rahel led the creation of the committees. You know, Mr. Figueroa came up with a design. We're probably about 4 or 5 months away from possibly starting construction. Maybe
sooner than that,
5, 6 months. And hopefully within the next year, this wing will become a reality for our students at Todd Middle School. So like I said, teachers, you guys, your principals, you know, you guys are all part of the solution to this problem by not getting this raise. You know, I know that was not a very popular move, but, you know, we want to thank you guys for tightening our belt and say, you know what, we're going to forego this raise in lieu of our kids, because at the end of the day, it's about the children. And now, when people go by Todd, they're going to say, oh, there's a new wing there for our 6th grade students, or whichever. I think it's 6th grade is going to be the one that's going to be getting that wing. There's work in progress, you know. So just take that for what it's worth. Pat yourselves in the back for tightening our belts. And like I said, it's not a very popular move not to give teachers a raise. But, you know, because of your understanding, you know, please continue to understand that this wing is gonna become possible because of our, ability to forego a raise for 1 year. And hopefully next year we'll have that additional money and, we may be able to move forward, okay? So again, thank you very much. Please tell, Mr. Estrada, tell your members of your TSTA that, that's part of the rationale, behind this building. And this building will become possible because of everybody out there that is understanding, okay? Thank you.
Okay, back to the item. What is the recommendation?
Administration recommends approval of the schematic design as it was presented to you.
Okay, there's a
So moved.
recommendation to approve.
I so move.
A
Second.
motion by Mr. Billman, second by Mr. Guerrero. All in favor?
Favor.
In favor?
Favor.
Anybody opposed? Okay, motion carries. DO3,
Thank you.
I think this is something that's in conjunction with the city of Donna.
Here we go. I'm sorry, I had the wrong agenda. Yes, Mr. Chairman, both DO3 and DO4, and Ms. Rangel can probably give even greater detail, but the district has been approached by the city of Donna. There is always this interdependent relationship between entities, in this case, the school district and the city, to improve the quality of infrastructure that serves, in this case, the families of this community. And so they have been talking to us, and they joined the building committee this past week, to talk about DO3, which is a request from the city for an easement off of this. The DO3 is North Avenue, and Ms. Rangel will give more details momentarily. And then DO4 for dedication and easement at Redskin Avenue. And then, Ms. Rangel, would you extend a little bit on those two items?
Yes, Dr. Leo. At the last cabinet board construction meeting, we had the city of Donna here. I believe we had the city manager, Mr. Llerena. They came before us asking for some of our property for easements and right-of-ways for better drainage and pavement, which would benefit not only the city but also the school district. And so they are here today asking for as you see, the two different areas. One is the area around Sauceda Middle School, which they have to go into our property to get the easement from there. And the other item is on Redskin Avenue. They're basically looking at all of Redskin Avenue from 493. If you go down Redskin Avenue, it takes you all around the baseball field back to Wood Avenue. They're basically looking to have property along there for drainage and for pavement.
And this connects to the presentation we had at the previous board meeting about drainage and the work of.
Correct. Yes, they had already presented some of these
Yes,
projects.
okay, so I'm thinking of the right.
Yes, it's the same one.
And in both these instances, we recognize that making improvements in both these areas will facilitate the flow of traffic as much for buses as for parent drop-offs. And so we appreciate that the city, in fact, has taken the initiative and is willing to work cooperatively with the school district at improving these services. Sir, you want to add?
Yes. Well, first of all, I want to thank the superintendent and the school board for giving us the opportunity to present to the committee. I do want to add, I'm a product of the Donna ISD, so this is one of the buildings that I went to school, so it brings back a lot of memories. But I do want to, just to summarize this, the city of Donna is doing over $5 million worth of improvements: streets, drainage, water, wastewater. So when we were putting together this plan, one of the things that we talked about is, well, maybe we can partner with the school district and ask them to participate financially. Well, we came out with a better plan. We're not asking you to participate financially. All we're asking from you is to help us with some of the right-of-way and the easements that we need to make the projects a reality. And all of those projects are gonna help our community. They're gonna help you with capacity for future schools, future buildings. They're gonna improve traffic access to your schools. And we would ask respectfully that you would consider working with us, partnering with the city in this project. They're crucial projects to us. The timing is crucial as well. So we would ask that you consider that.
And we did hear from the city and various support agencies that they've been working with. We heard further information about economic development plans that the city has. And obviously, if those become a reality, this will bring additional jobs and it will bring additional families. And
Many additional jobs,
that-
many families.
that
to the
will
district.
come to our schools. But more than anything, we view this as a very positive, a very progressive opportunity to join with the city in improving certainly the traffic that we have to contend with every day. The city did inform us that their timelines are such that they are ready to begin work. Is it the Sauceda area or the Redskin? Which one is
We're ready
first?
to begin on both of those
On
areas,
both?
the drainage and the street as well.
Okay. And again, there was very lively interaction, and your board representatives they represented you well. They asked very, very pointed questions. And so they are ensuring that the interest of the school district and the families that are served by the district were voiced.
Those of you that were on that committee, that was, I believe it was Mr. Avila,
Yes.
Mr.
Yes,
Millman?
yes.
Correct.
And
and
Mr.
Mr.
Guerrero.
Guerrero.
Yes.
Will one of you guys take the lead and give us a little wrap-up on this?
Okay, I can help with, first of all, I think that, if, FYI, the Sauceda project, or, I guess the easiest one's gonna be with the Todd project, because, Redskin Boulevard, right now is barely a two-lane, road. It's in dire need of reconstruction. The city is, proposing a three-lane, road all the way to where the stadium is to help with the egress of traffic after football games and stuff like that. Also, every afternoon, the traffic going in and out of Todd goes in through Redskin Boulevard and in through the behind the M building. The kids get picked up in the afternoons. This will also help relieve some of the traffic congestion there. And I believe they're asking for just a 10-foot easement to bury, I believe a 12-inch or 20-inch water line, and also some drainage and widening of the road. For that purpose, and it's gonna go all the way back out toward the soccer field, baseball fields, and connect back up to Wood Avenue. That they're also going to expand the road at their cost, all the way. So the district will not incur any expense in the creation of a new road all the way to the back and out to the baseball field, soccer field, and then eventually out towards the
Eventually, we
freeway.
are also looking at expanding a non-name street from Wood Avenue all the way to the expressway. So that's gonna alleviate some of your traffic flow for that area as well.
And, I think that particular project, the Todd and the Redskin Avenue is a great project. Now, getting back to Sauceda, that one is a little bit, they're creating, I think it's 4.8 acres of land that they're requesting for drainage. And that will create a new road from Valley View all the way to Huddle Road, which is the extension of North Avenue. Okay, that will also help relieve our traffic congestion out there at the Sauceda campuses. People will be able to go in either off of Hutto and or exit off of Hutto, so that will also be a big help to the traffic behind there. They're asking for that, I think it's like a 40-foot easement all the way to Valley View to create drainage. And, you know, I don't know, that's gonna help all that Northern Avenue or north segment of town for drainage. You know, and then there also, is it gonna be a 2 or 3 lane road on, north?
It's a 2 lane. We're looking at a 2 lane.
2 lane?
Eventually, we're gonna do that, yeah, 2 lanes.
2 lane,
Yes.
curb gutter,
Curb and gutter.
with drainage.
Yes.
So that would be a big positive, you know, because I know that Huddle Road has always had flooding issues and stuff like that, so.
And at the same time, it's not gonna be used for trucks, correct? The one in Sauceda? It's not gonna be a truck
No,
lane?
it's not gonna be for trucks.
Okay.
Also, I'd like to add, Mr. Guerrero, Madam Superintendent, in discussion with the city, if you guys recall, and the mayor approved it, I asked for concrete entrance for Wood and Redskin Avenue off of 493. He okayed it, but I don't see it anywhere in writing, so on the record.
Yes, sir.
You guys agree to that? I want to make sure that
We
gets done.
agree to that. I think we, as far as maintenance, it's gonna help us. That's a bus roadway, so we need to, putting that in there is gonna help us to maintain those roads, so.
Correct.
We're in agreement with that.
Okay, let's make sure that's on
Yes.
record that you all are going to do that, as well as a privacy fencing along the,
Yes, sir.
be the
Sauceda.
northeast corner of the Sauceda
Yes.
Middle School to protect the students from viewing
That is
the
correct.
truck stop parking lot.
Yes, sir. That is
Yeah, I
correct.
want to make sure all that
Yes.
gets done as we discuss.
Yes, sir.
All right, thank you.
Okay, with that in mind, do I have a recommendation?
So
for
moved.
DO3? First, I think I need a recommendation, correct?
Yes. Thank you, Mr. Billman, for bringing those very critical points up, and yes, they are on the record. The first recommendation regarding DO3 is that the board administration recommends the board approve the dedication of Sauceda Middle School drainage ditch and North Avenue easement and North Avenue ROW easement to the city of Donna.
Make the motion, we approve?
Okay, there's a motion by Mr. Avila,
I'll second it.
second by Mr. Billman. All in favor?
Favor. In favor.
Anybody opposed? Motion carries.
The
DO4.
the next item at DO4, administration recommends that the board approve the dedication of Redskin Avenue from FM 493 to Wood Avenue, which includes a 10-foot easement for all of Redskin Avenue on the south side from FM 493 and 40 feet to Wood Avenue to the city of Donna.
Make the motion, we approve?
Second.
Okay, before we continue, I do want to ask something. Have you looked at all this? Have you?
Not all of it,
Okay, that's another thing. I think that he needs to look at it before it becomes
sent.
official, correct?
Mr. Centos, I've been in contact with Alyssa.
Alyssa's looked
Yeah.
at it?
Yeah, well, no, she took a look at this, but
The
as
agreements.
far as the agreement, they said that if you all approved it, then upon general council review,
Yes.
then. we'll be
All
okay.
right.
You can approve it subject to
Subject to
legal
legal
review.
Subject to, yes, okay.
So that's
Contingency of,
basically what we're
approval
gonna
of-
do with both of these.
Yes.
We're gonna go ahead
Correct,
and,
yes.
and have our legal counsel look at it, and then we'll,
That is appropriate.
Okay.
We can work with council.
DO4, I had a motion and a second. All in favor?
In favor.
Anybody opposed?
I meant to vote in favor, I'm sorry.
Okay, motion carries. Academic services?
Thank
Before I
you.
go,
Thank you, sir.
I
Thank you,
wanna
John.
thank the board for partnering with the city of Donna, and I do wanna recognize our commissioners, Commissioner Oscar Gonzalez is here, and Commissioner Art Castillo is here as well.
Thank you.
Thank you very
Joey
much.
Garza. Joey Garza too.
Oh, and Commissioner Garza, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Commissioner Garza, Joey Garza.
Thank you.
Thank you guys for coming.
Thank you all.
He happens to be a Donna ISD employee.
Sometimes I'm taking notes and.
Members
and
of
it's
the board.
Too fast for me.
Mr. Chairman, the next item, academic services, let's see, we are, yes, at section 6. And items number 1 through 5 are all similar in that they are, administration is asking for approval to reallocate funds for AS1, the Title I, Improving Basic Programs, AS2, the Title I, Migrant Program, AS3, the Title III, English Language Acquisition Program, AS4, the Title IV, Part A, Subpart 1, Academic Enrichment Program, and AS5, the Title II, Supporting Effective Instruction well, they're all reallocations of funds. And we do have Mrs. Cruz and Mr. Rana who are here. I don't know if your directors are present, yes, to answer specific questions, if you have any, regarding the programs that I have referenced or the amounts that you see shown on the agenda.
Madam Superintendent, do you have any concerns in regards to AS1 through AS6?
No, sir, I do not. Directors, administrators are vigilant about the expenditures, and they are knowledgeable too about program requirements, and so I am supporting their recommendations, and administration recommends that the board approve these reallocations.
These are basically just grants, correct?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So there's a motion, there's a recommendation to approve. It's a motion by Ms. Watts,
I second.
second by Mr. Avila. All in favor?
Favor.
Favor.
Anybody opposed? Motion carries.
Item AS6 is a little different. It is, administration is recommending approval to renew the subscription for Renaissance Learning. This is the company that provides the accelerated reader program in all of our schools, in the middle school and elementary programs. I believe you are all familiar with the accelerated program?
Yes, ma'am.
Accelerated Reader Program. So we want to ask for a renewal of that subscription for the coming school year of 2018-2019.
Is it 58,750 for all schools? That's good.
Ms. Cruz?
But it'll cover all the schools.
And middle. Elementary.
Okay.
And
Any
that
more,
is our
any more
recommendation.
questions? Okay, recommendation,
I
was
move,
to approve.
Yes, sir.
Okay, I need a motion.
make a motion to approve.
Motion by Mr. Guerrero. Second by Ms. Watts. All in favor?
Favor.
Favor.
In favor.
Motion carries. Business and Finance.
At Business and Finance, item number 1, we are asking to go out, issue request for qualifications to seek a law firm to conduct delinquent tax collection services for Donna Independent School District. Currently, the current contract, which is with Linebarger, Grogan, and Blair, expires March, in a couple of months. And so we want to solicit RFQs, and it is recommended. We have been working closely with Dr. Romero's, the district's monitor. She recommends strongly that we renew the contract. The current contract allows renewal if the district so wishes. But our recommendation is that we go out for RFQs.
Okay, there's a recommendation to go out for RFQs for tax attorneys.
So when,
Tax collections, yes, delinquent tax collection services.
so let me make sure I'm understanding. So Ms. Romero's suggested that we renew this contract?
That we solicit requests for
Oh,
qualifications,
okay, got it.
RFQs, seek others as well.
Yep.
And it may be that the current provider is the one that the board ultimately selects, but we want to go out and see if there are others who offer a better value to the district.
Okay, do I have a motion?
I move.
There's a motion by Dr. Mary, second by Ms. Watts. All in favor?
In favor.
Favor.
In favor.
Anybody opposed? Motion carries.
The next item at BF2 is that we ask the board to reject and allow administration to rebid RFP 091917-366A, which solicited bids for vehicle repairs and maintenance services for district-owned white fleet vehicles for a 2-year period with a 1-year option to renew. It is my understanding that when this RFP was first advertised, that we received only 1 bid. Correct, Ms. Martinez? Okay.
Yes,
And
ma'am, there was one bid, but it wasn't acceptable because it was missing items from the bid packet.
Okay, has this item been rebid in the past, in previous years?
No, this
It's
is the
never been
first.
bid out before?
No.
I think one of the problems that we had, Mr. Sinaceros, on this thing, I've got several phone calls on this regarding the way it was written, that it was like so broad that it's just too much for one particular company to encompass. It's, for example, one bid for tires. Okay, I want to bid for tires. Well, if you bid $500 for a tire, well, that'll cover a bus tire. But what if it's only for a Ford Focus? It's a $100 tire. You know, and it was just too broad. The maintenance on certain vehicles, whether they're gas and diesel, there was no distinction that was made. It was. I think that was one of the reasons why we didn't have anybody really bid on it, because it was the way that the bid was written.
You mean the RFQ?
The RFP or
The RFP.
RFP.
Yeah,
Yes.
so I think that that's something that we need to look at is how are we writing these bids? Are
As well
they?
as the specs.
Yeah.
Yeah, Mrs. Noriega and myself reviewed them earlier today, and we will review them again with Mrs. Rangel and make sure they're.
Maybe we can visit with some of the neighboring school districts and find out how are they addressing it? Are they breaking them up into oil changes, tune-ups, tires? Instead. Yeah. Yeah, but what I'm saying is it was all part of one bid. Yeah. And that was one of the issues that, for example, some people will do mechanical work, but they can't do tire work. Some people can do the tire work, but they can't do mechanical work. And
Yeah, the packet, in the packet, there's a space for only the items that they can do. They don't have to be able to meet all the specs, but they can bid on the items,
and I think that was one of the issues that the vendors were having is how can you address it? And I don't know whether they were aware that they could do that, just bid on one area.
I believe that the purchase department is going to have like a pre-conference with a pre-bid conference with them to kind of explain the packet if they have any questions about it. So that might kind of help.
Yeah.
Maybe they didn't know how to fill it out.
I think that was one of the issues. So, I think if we just take a little bit longer and write it a little bit more specific, it would help.
Okay, back, we gotta reject and rebid.
I make a motion that we reject and rebid.
It's a motion by Mr. Guerrero.
Thank you.
Second.
to Reject and rebid, second by Dr. Mary. All in favor?
Favor.
In favor.
Anybody opposed? Okay, motion carries.
At BF3, a similar situation, we are asking for we're asking the board to reject and give us authority to rebid RFP 091917-366B. This one is for vehicle repairs of district-owned buses for the 17-18 and 18-19 school year with one option to renew. On this particular item, there were no bids submitted. And perhaps for the same issue that you raised, Mr. Guerrero, and so I know that Ms. Martinez we had talked about that, is already working on reviewing the language of the
Yes, ma'am.
bids before they go out and see if that is presenting the challenge.
Okay, I had the same question. Was this something that wasn't bid out before tampoco? Wasn't done before either?
Yeah, no, this is the first time that we
This is the
go out
first
for
time?
bid, yes.
Never done before, Mr. Solis? Wow.
To expand a little bit, normally they had buy board and Textbox numbers or Region 1 numbers that they normally were approved vendors. Our purchasing procurement process has changed some. So based on that, there's still, a lot of them still feel that we're running the business as we used to. But our procurement process has changed. And they really are a little confused about, we could do business with you all, but now it's changed. So they're kind of leery of, they're not used to this type of request. We need to, I guess, train them and let them understand how it's gonna work for them here in Dodge.
So the idea of a pre-conference with interested vendors
Would be good.
would be good.
I think that's something that you need to try to set up is, try to make, they can make contact with some of the vendors, correct?
Yes,
Make
sir.
sure that they're aware that the bid is out and, try to encourage them to bid. Because, if you don't have any bidders, you know, you need to try to get a hold of somebody.
Yes, sir. That is our recommendation, to reject this bid as well and authorize us to rebid.
Okay, recommendation on the floor,
Make a motion to reject and rebid.
Second.
motion by Mr. Guerrero, second by Dr. Mary. All in favor?
In favor.
Okay.
In favor.
Anybody opposed? Motion carries. Okay, time is 7:24. We're gonna be going into executive session as authorized by Texas Government Code, sections 551.071, 072, 073, 074, 075, 076, 082, 083, and 084. Time is 7:24. I think we got enough, right?
Hey, we make it out of here before 10.
Okay, time is 9:52, and we are back from executive session, and we will be resuming open session. Let's start with letter A. Discussion and possible action to approve superintendent's recommendation of personnel.
Mr. Chairman, no action is required.
Okay. Letter B, discussion and possible action to approve district personnel.
I recommend that the board approve personnel as presented in executive session with the exception of those positions for which there was a sole applicant.
Okay, there's a motion,
I move. Second.
motion by Dr. Mary, second by Ms. Watts. All in favor?
In favor.
In favor.
Anybody opposed? Okay, motion carries. Discussion and possible action regarding the resolution of Ernest Lugo versus Donna ISD.
No action.
No action is required, and Mr. Chairman, with all due respect, no action is required on items C, D, E, or F.
Okay, need a motion to adjourn?
Move.
Second.
Moved by Dr. Mary, seconded by Ms. Watts. All in favor?
Favor.
Favor.
Anybody opposed? Motion carries. Meeting is adjourned. Have a good evening. And we beat 10 o'clock. All right.
You know where your appointment.